What is going on, buddy? Welcome back to All Things Film. Today I'm here to do my top 5 episodes of The Walking Dead Season 8. We are about 2 days away from the Season 9 premiere, and today I want to go back and talk about, the last chapter of The Walking Dead, which was All Out War, and share my top 5 episodes of that season. Before I do begin though, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit the subscribe button for daily videos. We're, like I said, 2 days away from the premiere, so we got a bunch of Walking Dead stuff coming up, but other than that, let's get started. So starting off with number 5, and that is Honor, which was episode 9 of season 8, which was Carl's goodbye episode. Now, I did enjoy this episode, and I thought it was a great start to the second half of season 8, because the first half of season 8 wasn't all that, but the second half definitely picked up, and I thought it was one of the best, half seasons we've had in a while. I thought it was great. And Honor, Carl's goodbye episode was really, really sad. And, it was some of the best acting I've seen from Chandler Riggs on this show, since he's been there from the beginning, and I was super moved, and I was getting emotional, Judith crying. That was really a sad episode, and I think, definitely the saddest episode since the season 7 premiere, and, one of the saddest episodes of all time for The Walking Dead. And I thought Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, they both did a great job as well. That whole scene when they were in the church saying their final goodbye, that was super emotional and really well done. And I also love the kingdom stuff too, with Morgan pulling out the throw and everybody coming to save King Ezekiel and Henry killing Gavin. It was a lot of badass stuff mixed with some emotional stuff, so I have to give the 5th spot to Honor, in honor of our boy Carl Grimes. The number 4 spot goes to Mercy, which was episode 1 of season 8, and I thought it was a great start to All Out War. Siddiq got introduced, and Siddiq looks to be a character that we're gonna have a lot in The Walking Dead. I think he's gonna become one of those fan favorite characters that we have for at least a couple of years. So I did like his introduction. I love the Rick and Carl moments when they were talking about, the saviors and Negan, and I just love grounded scenes when characters are just talking. So I did like the Carl and Rick moments in this episode. I also love the Battle of the Sanctuary. I thought it was pretty good. I love Negan's speech. I loved Rick's countdown, and then when he started shooting at F5, I thought that was really good. And when Negan was in the ground and Rick kept shooting at him, I did like the Sanctuary battle. And there was also a lot of comic book moments that came to life in this episode, especially with them going to the Sanctuary, obviously, and then also the Gregory scene that was straight from the comic books. I also loved the Morgan, Tara, Daryl, and Carol moments in the episode when they were blowing shit up, and I just thought it was a great introduction to All Out War. And then also Rick's speech at the end, I thought that was awesome too. Coming in at number 3, that is The Lost and the Plunderers, which was episode 10 of season 8. I thought this was a really well balanced episode because we had some Sanctuary, we had some Rick and Michonne, we had some Junkyard. And speaking of the Junkyard people, this was the episode where Simon killed all the scavengers, and that was a very brutal scene and a really epic scene too. And I wish The Walking Dead did more dark stuff like that, because I think that's what fans love. And a lot of that has to do with Simon. I thought Stephen Ogg did a great job that episode as Simon, because I was terrified of him. Yeah, it was a very brutal scene, and I did like it. But what really made this episode come into number 3 was the Rick and Negan scene at the end. I absolutely loved when Rick told Negan that Carl died, and what I really loved about it was Negan's face, because we saw it in his face and we saw it in his eyes that he was a bit hurt from it, and he was really shocked, and even asked, like, was it us? And Rick explained that it wasn't. And Rick and Negan scenes, man, they were so epic, and a lot of that has to do with both Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Andrew Lincoln being the best actors on the show, because with 2 years we've had Rick and Negan, the episodes that have those two interacting with each other are usually the best episodes of the season, and this was definitely one of them. Now moving on to number 2, that goes to The Key, which was episode 12. Now this episode was just epic, and I almost put it at number 1. I had a tough time making this list because I think you guys might have a feeling what's coming in at number 1, but this was almost there. And just everything about this episode, I thought it was great. And the big moment was the Rick and Negan battle in the abandoned building. But let's start off with the car chase, because we don't get many car chases in The Walking Dead, and Negan and Rick car chase, like, how epic is that? I love that. I thought it was awesome. The Simon and Dwight scenes were great when Simon was Simon was kind of like hoping Negan actually died or something so he can take over, when Simon was kind of planning with Dwight that we can lead the saviors. I love that. This was Georgie's introduction to The Walking Dead. It was very mysterious, and it definitely sets up the future of The Walking Dead with, Georgie and possibly being connected with the Commonwealth. And Rick and Negan, I don't even need to talk too much about that. I think we can all admit that that was a badass scene, especially when Rick lit up the Lucille, and the fact that he lit up Lucille with Glenn's lighter made it so much more better. And he was kind of chasing Negan around this abandoned building, and it was dark, and the walkers were coming in. I thought it was a great scene, so I had to put the key in the number 2 spot. And I think you guys all know what's coming in at number 1. It is episode 16, Wrath, which was a season 8 finale. And it's not a surprise because we've been building up to this episode for 2 years. Ever since Negan's introduction, we've been building up for this final Rick and Negan scene, and I absolutely love this whole episode. And a lot of that has to do with my excitement. Yes, there's problems within the episode, but for the most part, as a fan of these characters in this story, I was happy with it. And just everything coming together was just so amazing to see. Starting off with Eugene rigging the bullets, and they were exploding, and then everybody started beating up Negan. Father Gabriel and Dwight, they started beating on Negan. Oceanside coming to the rescue at Hilltop. Just I remember getting off my chair in excitement just for seeing this, because after so much of so much pain for our characters, we finally see our heroes succeed, and it was awesome. And obviously that final Rick and Negan scene that ended All Out War. I love Rick telling Negan, give me 10 seconds to explain Carl's vision, and the fact that Negan actually listened to him and got emotional. I didn't expect that. That really got me by surprise. And then the final throat slash that officially ended All Out War. And when Rick told them to go save Negan, I thought that was some great acting by Andrew Lincoln and Lauren Cohan, because first of all, Maggie's crying really got to me. That was super emotional. And Rick's final speech, it's hard to say which is my favorite Rick speech of The Walking Dead because there's so many great ones, but that one is definitely up there. I love that speech. And I also liked the flashbacks at Rick and Carl, and I thought this episode was a great end to the Negan saga. But those are my top 5 episodes of The Walking Dead Season 8. In the comments down below, you guys be sure to comment your top 5. I'd love to hear from you, but I am going to wrap it up there, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating, and for daily Walking Dead videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It's been All Things Film, and until next time, peace.